Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry, apparently my voice is out. I didn't know that because it's the first time I've spoken today. But if you are new here, my name's Shelly. I am a third grade teacher in Northern California. I am in year 2 of teaching, and this series is kind of like a day in the life of a teacher. We'll talk about the hot mess in just a second. So today is Friday. This is the end of the second full week of school. So I'm gonna kind of walk you through what we've been doing and what we're gonna be doing today and all of that kind of stuff. I quickly just want to apologize for my absence, not only on YouTube, but on Instagram and just social media in general. This is like an insane time in my life right now. I have a lot going on, which I will touch on in a little bit. So I do want to formally apologize and just know that throughout the year, I will be more active and more present. So I'm sorry. Also, I recently just hit 50,000 subscribers, which to me is like absolutely insane. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for clicking that little button and joining our family and being along for the ride. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start this vlog now. If you're interested in seeing what we go through on a day-to-day basis, keep on watching. Okay, so I do have to say, I can't stay at school like longer than an hour. I mean, that's even pushing it when the bell rings. I like to get here early. I function better in the morning. My brain works better in the morning. So that's why sometimes when I walk in, you'll see just messes everywhere because my brain literally won't let me do anything after school. That wasn't always the case last year, but this year that's what I'm finding and whatever. So it is 7:20 right now. We don't start school till 8:40. I'm usually here by 7, but whatever. So I am just going to kind of straighten up, start cleaning up my desk area, and then I'm gonna start making my list of things that I need to do today. That always helps me, which I'll chat about in a little bit, just get my brain organized and things like that. So I'm gonna start picking up and then I will pick you back up. I guess I'll show you what I mean by mess. So like this is an activity that we were gonna do, we didn't get to. This is like something that we already finished. I'm gonna talk about these drawers because I think I'm gonna do something different to help combat this. Like Eagle tickets that I just have laying around. I mean, just so much random stuff. My planner. This is work that I'm going to be posting. Forms that I need to file. Just like random stuff. And I can't start my day this way. By all means, if I walk out like this, whatever. Some people don't function that way. I do. I can't start my day like this. I started going through and organizing things in piles. You know that this is how I operate. So I started doing that, and then I like had to go home because my brain was like, and then my back table is just a hot mess too. So I'm gonna put you down and I'll pick you back up when I can function. Okay, so I've cleaned up. Somebody sent me a direct message on Instagram asking me like how I manage paper flow. And my response was, honestly, I don't really know. I'm still working on it. So this is kind of what I do when I need to organize my space. I put everything in piles. That way I know how I can start making my to-do list. So for example, these are forms that need to get turned in. This is kind of what we're working on today. These are reading logs and spelling practice sheets that go in their homework folders that I need to file away. That needs to get hung up on our bulletin board out in the hallway. Office referrals, that's our speech schedule, so I need to go through that. And math, writing, reading. Okay, so that brings me over to these bins. So I've mentioned before, I don't love this system. And the only two I really use are file. As you can see, it's full, and grade, which is empty, but I have my class list in there. So I think what I'm going to do is instead of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, copy, whatever, I'm gonna have reading, writing, math, IB, which is kind of our science and social studies combined into there. And I'm gonna keep my file and grade. And then I'll have think sheets, office referrals, and one more thing over here that I can't think of right now. That's just how my brain functions. And I'm gonna tell you why I prefer that to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I usually print and prep things like for the week that I wanna work on, and I don't know what we're gonna get throughout the day. And especially with this group, they're a little bit challenging in the sense that they're all at different levels, and so I just don't know what I'm gonna get to each day. And when I break it up by day, I feel overwhelmed that I have to get to that in that day, and that's not working for me. So when something doesn't work, you change it. So I'm gonna make new labels, and I'm going to instead, organized by subject, and then a couple other papers that I reach for. So like my think sheets are my behavior management piece and whatever. And then whatever I decide I'm gonna use for that day, I'm just gonna put it in here. And then I can walk in, grab my stuff, and start my day. I do want to put you guys down in a little bit and just kind of do a little bit of a reflection, because I am having a hard time so far in the year and I want to be as transparent as possible with you guys. So before I do that, I am going to organize all of this. I'm going to make my to-do list. I'll show you what's on that. I'll show you what we're doing in the day, and then we can chat. I'll be right back. All right, so my piles are gone. I have started doing math, reading, writing. I took off the labels. It's on my list of things to do. Speaking of, here is my list of things to do over the weekend. And this is my to-do list for things today. Hopefully I will get to all of it, but just because it's written down, I already feel better. Okay, so I'm gonna turn you around and walk you through our schedule for the day. I'm sorry, I haven't had coffee yet. Things are not. So here we go. So we are going to start with our number of the day. That's the bell work. We're gonna go into morning meeting. Math today, I'm going to talk about, we have our first assembly. Well, I guess not our first. We had a mini one, but this is like our first awards assembly. Then I'm going to give our spelling test. Then we have recess, and this is Friday, so we go recess, Spanish, music, lunch. Crazy. So this is when I'm going to meet with my principal for SPG, which is just a growth kind of program. After lunch, we're going to do a read aloud. We're going to do a reading activity. We are going to do workshop, which I'll talk about in a second. On Fridays, we have our class meetings, Fun Friday, and then dismissal. So that is what our day is going to look like. So yesterday, I introduced teaching the halfway number, kind of to lead us into rounding, which we're going to start next week. So I struggled with this last year, and that is like kind of really using the curriculum when I don't think that it's the best. And the struggle is, okay, I know it's not gonna work, but so then what do I do? So yesterday I taught from the curriculum, and it just like on the carpet. I thought the lesson was amazing. The kids got it. So I thought, just based on my quick checks, and then they go back to their seats and they're like, we don't get it. All right. So I did some reflecting, and we're going to reteach the halfway number today and on Monday. Today I'm just gonna have them put halfway numbers in their math journal, and we're gonna see the pattern that they are is a 5 in the middle if the 2 digits on the ends end in 0. So I'm just gonna redo that today. And then for reading, I think I've mentioned I'm using the Rooted in Reading for 3rd grade by Amy Lemons on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll link it below. So far so good. They do have nonfiction passages in them. So we're gonna walk through our first one today. This one, oh my God, how gross. This one's about school buses. So it has a passage and then a comprehension check. And that's something that I'm gonna work into my ELA rotations for my higher kids. So I'm gonna do the first couple with them. So we're gonna do that today. And then I've mentioned workshop before, I think. At the end of the day, sometimes, I will like plan for like 15 minutes of workshop time so kids can get their work done that didn't have enough time to finish. If they did have enough time to finish, they can do a may-do. So they can free draw, they can get on a computer, they can silent read and things like that. So that's what the workshop looks like at the end of the day. So that is the bulk of our day. Before I sit down and just chat with you, I kind of want to show you a couple things that I've tweaked in the room. I will be doing a classroom tour, I promise. Hopefully after my little rant, you'll understand why it hasn't happened yet. So let me just show you a couple things. So again, this is something that I'm changing. This is something that I'm starting. I noticed that all my anchor charts were just like getting piled up on my focus wall, and it wasn't a focus wall anymore. It was anchor chart apartment area. So I had this last year to hang a pocket chart, which I didn't really use that for. And so I have hangers, and I'm just clipping my anchor charts to the hangers and just gonna store them here. That way, this is what we're using for our IB unit. So when I need these, I can just unclip it, tape it up front, and we're good to go. So that was, that's a big thing that I've adjusted. Also, my kids have already lost access to the library. They cannot seem to control themselves in here. So until they can show me they can, they no longer have access to the library. They have access to the books, they just can't use the space, which is sad. And then this is our focus wall. We've been working on making connections in reading. These are our posters, again, from the Rooted in Reading. So this is what we're focusing on in reading. Math, we're doing the halfway number. And yeah, just a little overview of the state of the room. Okay, here we go. So I kind of went back and forth on if I wanted to sit down and have this little reflection setting because I don't want to come off as negative. And then I realized I created this channel to, one, document my experience, two, to relate to other teachers and just people out there, and to just give you a glimpse of what teachers deal with on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. So the truth is, I've probably had the hardest couple weeks of teaching that I've had this far in my career, and I really hope I don't get emotional. So, okay, so where do I begin? Let's start with like just my personal life really quickly. I've mentioned that I just bought a house, I have a puppy, and I moved classrooms, so just a lot of things have been going on. Now, we finally got into our house. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, like structurally, so that's been really stressing me out. We just moved all the boxes in, so my house is just chaos and a mess, and if that's the case, my brain becomes really cluttered and I get overwhelmed. We have a puppy, and all of a sudden he becomes a priority, so I don't want to spend as much time here at school. And then my class this year is obviously different than last year, and it's just more challenging, just the nature of the kiddos. So I've been extremely overwhelmed to the point where on Wednesday I had like a full-blown panic attack at 1 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't turn my brain off. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like my to-do list was 10,000 miles long and I couldn't organize my thoughts, and I just freaked out. And to be really honest with you, here we go, I don't want to get emotional. To be really honest with you, I never really hit that point my first year of teaching. Of course I got stressed, but I never got to the point of like a mental breakdown. And I hit that point at this point of the week. Okay, let me just collect myself because this is embarrassing. Okay. Whew. So it stemmed from, with a new class comes new challenges. And my class this year is very, very across the board as far as abilities go. And that's life, right? We're taught that we need to differentiate, and that wasn't really the issue for me. It was just more so feeling so overwhelmed that I wanted to be perfect, and I wanted to make sure that every single kid had something in place where I'm targeting their specific abilities. And because I have such a wide range of abilities, it was extremely overwhelming. And I couldn't get organized, and I'm a kind of person where if I can't get organized and I don't have a structured routine in place, I can't function properly. So that was a really big struggle for me. And I'm fortunate this year to be working really closely with a resource teacher, and I kind of opened up to him and I was like, dude, like I'm stuck, like I don't really know where to go. And we sat down and we hammered out a schedule, and he's just an awesome resource for me and for the kids, and I'm so grateful to be working close with him this year. And that brings me to my point is, I think I've mentioned this in a video, always ask for help when you're feeling down. I've been leaning on my principal a lot the first couple of weeks. I have some big behaviors in my classroom, and I think I like to pride myself on my classroom community and my behavior management. That being said, there's just certain things that are out of your control, and that was stressing me out. And so I reached out to my principal, and I really opened up to my team teachers about the way I was feeling. And honestly, sometimes just like a hug and you'll be okay is all you really need to kind of just take a breath, take a step back, and just kind of like restart. So that's kind of what I've been going through the last couple of weeks. So that hopefully that explains why I've been a little bit absent. Okay, now how am I overcoming it? Because I know that I'm not the only one, and that's part of where I find comfort, right? Like, I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I think as teachers, we're innately perfectionists, and we want to succeed, and we want our kids to succeed. And so when you feel like you can't give that to them, and I know it's only the second week of school, but anyway, it's just all the other things in my life that are stressing me out too, and it just, whatever. Also, like I said, talking and reaching out to the people around you. They're there to support you. They're there to work through these hard times with you. So please, like if you're feeling this way, reach out to the people around you. They want to help you. Hug your kids. Like, that sounds really crazy, but like I know I was super overwhelmed and stressed out, and like I just had to step back, and every time they left the door, I just like squeezed them, because that is why I do what I do, right? Those relationships are why I do what I do. And even though I felt like I was failing them even though I felt like I was going to be failing them academically, I knew emotionally and personally I could be there for them for that. So I wanted to just kind of focus on the relationships for that week that I was like freaking out. And then just knowing that no matter what, your kids always love you. They don't know that you're stressing out behind the scenes. They don't know what really goes into the instructional piece. So just knowing that they always love you really helps. And then for me, as far as the organizational piece, making lists has changed my life. I used to do it, but I wasn't really doing it during the stressful time. And as soon as you have a list in front of you, all of those crazy thoughts get dumped onto paper and they no longer live in your head. So I'm a proponent for writing, for journaling, and for making lists, because that takes all that stress and it puts it onto paper and it no longer just swims around in your head. So that's my tip to you. Okay, I'm done ranting. I wanted this to be like a minute and it turned into like 6. So the only reason I bring this up, again, not to be negative, but to hopefully relate to some of you out there if you're going through something similar, know that you're not alone. And I just really appreciate this community here. Please leave a comment down below if you're feeling this way. That way myself and all of these beautiful subscribers can help you through it. So that's kind of why I wanted to sit down and be super transparent with you guys. But I'm gonna move on with my day and put a smile on my face and get some coffee. So thanks for listening. Okay, I've collected myself. So I'm gonna go get some coffee in the staff room, and I'm looking at my to-do list. Well, looking at my list, I need to print and prep my spelling tests. This is our first spelling test this Friday. What else do I need to do? And then I need to copy our number of the day. And then the kids are gonna be here. So I'm gonna put you guys down and I will check back in with you at recess. Okay, so my kids are at recess, and so far we just did a little bit in our math journal. We went to our assembly. They're at recess now. I did a read aloud before recess. I want to show it to you because if you haven't read it, it's awesome. So it's called What If Everybody Did That? And it basically goes through a bunch of scenarios where, like, you know, I threw my can out the car window. What if everybody did that? And like, it was just such an awesome conversation starter. What I thought was gonna be like a 5-minute read aloud turned into like a 25-minute conversation. So that was awesome. Highly recommend. I'll find it on Amazon and link it down below. What If Everybody Did That by Ellen Javernick. So, awesome read aloud. So, after recess, my kids go to Spanish. And during that time, I have a meeting with my principal. And then they go to music, which is new for our school this year. So, it's actually really awesome. They come in here and do music in here. And then they go to lunch. I'm eating lunch with a sweet student today, so that'll be fun. So, that means during music, I'm actually gonna go get lunch because I forgot my lunch today. That way I can eat with her. And then we're gonna do our spelling test after lunch because the assembly ran a little bit longer and I didn't want to start the spelling test and then stop halfway through. So, spelling test, we're gonna do the reading nonfiction passage, we're gonna do some workshop. One of my kids is his last day today, so we're gonna celebrate him a little bit at the end of the day, and then we're gonna have our class meeting, which I'll chat about, and then Fun Friday. So, that is my update for right now, and I will check back in with you, maybe not at lunch, maybe I'll check back with you soon. Okay, so my kids are still at Spanish. I still have about 5 minutes to get some things done. I just met with my principal and I chose my goal to work on for the year, and I'm working on writing and math. I'm really working on writing altogether. It's where I feel like I'm the weakest as far as instruction goes, and I'm also focusing on specifically writing in math. So I have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna run a couple of errands. I showed you this was my oh, this is in the wrong spot. This is my to-do stuff, so whoop, got that there. I'm gonna run some of this to the office, put some stuff in boxes, and run these errands. And then when I come back, the kids are gonna be in music. So I will probably check in with you after lunch. Okay, life update. It's 6:10. No, I haven't been in my classroom the whole time. I ended up leaving and then realized I forgot my camera. So I came back and got my camera. So the end of the day was awesome. On Fridays, we do like a class meeting. And today was like the first day where I was like, wow. I thought I had a challenging class, and I do, but like they are really caring and compassionate when they want to be. So that was a really awesome thing. So our class meeting, we do like 4 rounds. The first round is compliments. You can give a compliment to anyone inside or outside of the classroom. And then the second round, the second round is accomplishments, something you're proud of. So the sentence frame for that is, I am proud that blank. And then the third one is goals for next week, and then the fourth one is any problem solving. So we talk about any issues that we're having as a class, and it was incredible. And then they went out to Fun Friday, and that was that. And then I left and realized I didn't bring my camera, so here I am back in the classroom. So I'm gonna end this vlog here. Thank you for listening to my whining and my ranting, and I hope that it gave you a little bit of a clear perspective on some of the not so pretty days in teaching, and if you're feeling the same way, I hope that you got from this that you're not alone. And if you enjoy these types of videos, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. I feel like I always go like this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.